Hello and welcome. It's time for the 2024 Autocar Awards, and every year at this time we dive into a series of discussions with the people who drive the stars, the cars and bikes, into your homes. Well, in today's episode of the Autocar Dialogues presented by Reliance General Insurance, we are going to talk about connectivity. Now, after a car is sold, there still is a lot that goes beyond it. Service is a big part of it. And today, dealers are having to deal with things like data subscriptions and connectivity packs, which is what we're going to talk about today. Do the customers really want it? Who better to tell us than the dealer partners themselves? And today we have with us Ms. Shivpriya P. from JSP Kia. We have Mr. Nikki Sehgal from Sehgal Auto Riders, Mr. Jugal Gulbeg from Himalayan Motors, and Mr. Ashish Bansal from Shreyans Motors. Welcome, and we're going to talk today about what the customers really want. Are they interested in all of these data packs and value-added subscriptions that you are providing them?
Definitely, they are aware about this technology. Initially, when this technology was introduced in premium segment cars, only a handful of people knew about this technology. But as the industry evolved, the technology got advanced. The OEMs and the car manufacturers, they also decided that at a certain point in future, they also need to introduce this technology in their mid-size variants.
Correct. We're seeing them in lower and lower variants of cars now. But that's the tough job, right? That's what you dealers have to do. You have to educate the customer on what all this is about. I mean, I know they read it and they see it online. It's all very attractive. But when you talk to a customer, very rarely are they using a lot of this in their cars. Like, people will want ADAS, but use kar rahe, nahi kar rahe. So do you find that there is a lot that has changed in the way you have to sell the car or give it to your customer? And how much more is this education process for them?
See, where we represent are primarily the urban centers and the IT hub, one of the IT hubs. So here there are often the cases that we learn a thing or two from the customer. It's the other way around, rather than we educating the customer. See, it is at various degrees of tech immersion. It starts with people who are extremely into it, and it percolates down to people who just want to figure out the infotainment and the GPS system, and they're sorted. So we come across different levels of technology absorption. But the job for us at the dealership primarily would be when the customers come on board. Either it could be through various forms of inquiry. The moment of truth, when they actually sit in the vehicle, when they actually experience it, when we give them the test drives. And when you open out the entire tech suite and figure out their phones towards the vehicle, and then that is a moment of truth. That is when they realize sometimes it's too much for them to get at one go. It takes a period of time. It takes an immersion. It takes it's a daily habit, more to say. And also there are 2-3 segments of this technology, right? So one portion is during the sale, and a lot of the technology you have to use after the sale.
Yeah.
So your vehicle diagnostics, things like tire pressure, brake fluids, various diagnostic parameters.
Yeah, I mean,
also,
Kia, which you deal in, also has your concierge service.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've owned one, and it took me a while to even register that it was there in my car and that I could use it, and then all I had to do was press a button. So it's a matter of, like you said, getting used to these services.
Right.
How used to these services are the customers these days?
Actually, customers are now, the younger generation of customers are actually, these features were available as a standard feature in the top-end cars, but they can be bought by customers for cars that are not on the top end. Like Maruti offers a complete suite called Suzuki Connect, which can be bought and subscribed for by the customer. And now we see that over last year, this year, people buying Suzuki Connect are almost up by 50%, which was not there in the car, but people have actually bought that suite and got that whole telematics in their car so that they can use those features. So especially the younger generation of customers is technologically aware, he is tech savvy, and he wants those features. So we see more and more customers in fact adopting to it, and that is why if you see, manufacturers have made that part of a lot many cars than it was available in the past.
Do you think that customers are really willing to pay for these services? Still, is the customer ready to, like he says, Maruti customers are willing to value add and extend to the service. Do you think all customers are ready to pay for these?
Yes, they are ready to. It is becoming a deciding factor of purchasing the car.
Okay.
For set style of customers, I cannot say for all the customers, but 60% of the customers are looking into a tech devices in their car inbuilt by the OEM, because inbuilt by the OEM is changing the total atmosphere. If we take a technology from the outside, it is not connected to my car properly, and it is not syncing to the entire ecosystem of my OEM system.
So for me, driving is, therapeutic. It's the time when I can disconnect, and I don't want people calling me, and I don't want to be connected. But in today's world, that's very different. I mean, data packs, data subscription packs, people are offering them just so your car is directly connected to like literally every device from the Alexa in your home to, your phone and everything else. Is the customer coming in and asking for this technology in the cars? Is it one of their buying considerations?
Definitely it is a part of the consideration set. It's also, of course, see, the value proposition is increasingly changing as customers evolve over a period of time. So I think it's no longer the question of what would be my vehicle's resale value 5 years from now. That might be one of the questions. Nowadays it is like the day I buy the car, what will be my ownership experience? What will be my connectivity experience? What will be my safety and security experience, right? And also my after-service experience. So the thing is, connectivity now has percolated to many levels. It's also, it's not just between the owner, his device, the infotainment system and the car. It's also between vehicle-to-vehicle communication. So when you're changing lanes, right? So that's a piece of technology over there. When the vehicle is actually trying to avoid a collision in terms of sudden rash overtaking, or it is actually trying to put the brakes for you instead of you doing it, where it judges your every move and, So there's a vehicle-to-vehicle. Exterior communication is also going on. So with this many levels of advanced tech being involved, customers are definitely looking for it.
Definitely customer has evolved. I mean, ADAS is something that they have recognized, and like you said, originally we saw it only in very high-end cars. Today, something like your Mahindra XUV 700 has the recently launched Creta. It's coming lower and lower. ADAS functions are coming into cars today. I haven't seen that much adoption of it out on the road. How many percentage of your customers really understand the full ADAS suite, understand its functions and use them? Do you have any kind of data, or do you when your cars come in or customers come in, are there a lot of inquiries as to how does this work, or do you find that customers are well informed about ADAS and they know how it all works?
Most of the customers are aware about this technology, ADAS and other features. They are aware about this practical features like vehicle remote control, remote sensing of the vehicle.
So you're talking about the connected apps. Basically, they're aware of the remote sensing. They're aware of, like she said, collision damage.
Yes.
They're aware of lane change and things like that. But how much do they really use them out on the road? Do you think customers are really using these features out on the road? Because our conditions, are not very conducive to all these systems just as of yet. I mean, they're not entirely 100% safe and proof, right? What do you think?
Like what feedback we've got from customers is one of the very most used features in cars today is geofencing, especially when cars are given to drivers.
Children.
And then, sharing, for example, where the car is going if the children are using it, or somebody at home knows where the car is, tracking it in for parking. These features are being used a lot, and I think now they've almost become hygiene, especially in big cities. Your car is parked in a mall, you want to find it. It's something that really comes in handy when you want to find the car. Geofencing with drivers, trying to locate drivers, your car, it is an added safety suit on your entire theft story. So I think a lot of features have become hygiene. Our traffic conditions, unfortunately, especially in urban areas, I think cities, most of our cities, our traffic has a lot left to be desired as far as discipline goes. But features like that, usually a lot of those features, even I have in my car, could get turned down because they become, suddenly you have beeping, some motorcycle coming from here beeping and somebody coming from there is beeping. So, but other than that, your connectivity features, a lot of other connectivity features like like you said, driving is therapeutic. But then you need your music, you want to connect your phone, you don't want to listen to just those 3-4 songs on your car or the radio. So those kind of connectivity suddenly makes driving that much more pleasurable.
Yeah. Are there certain features that customers, you find that are on top of the list? That if these features are there, that's what the customer wants in the car. Is there a feature list that, like when you give feedback to the manufacturer, you say, "Bhaiya, this has to be there in the car"?
There are few features, like you can say they want to track their car where it is going, which is called like a geofencing and all. They are looking for that feature. Particularly, they asked it again and again, this has to be there. How many kilometers their car has driven when they pass a car key to someone else, how the driver is driving the car, and what kind of speedage, everything what is hurting his car, he wants to know today. And he asked also particularly.
It can be apart from connected also. Any others features that on your feature list that consumers say, okay, this is high on my ranking. Does the car? I know sunroof is one such feature that everybody wants in their car. But are there any other features that are like top of the list?
I think the first feature customers look at is mobile connectivity.
Okay.
How does the car connect to your mobile device? Because I think you have so much. We live out of our phone today. And how it connects, whether it connects with a wire or it connects wirelessly, how it connects to your car is the first thing he looks for, and before he looks at anything else. And today, customers might think, there are customers who might say that I'll buy a manual instead of automatic, but how is my connectivity? So connectivity is huge, especially with your mobile device. That's a feature that people look at. I think the government has made some mandated rules with 2 airbags. So earlier, safety or airbags was one of the things. But I think the Motor Vehicle Act has made a lot of mandates on that. And connectivity is right on top of especially young customers. Slightly older people, they don't really care. But young people, first thing is, how does my phone and my car connect?
Yeah, any others that you have on mind?
Well, I think that about sums up most of the top of the mind features, but the climate control, the air conditioning, and we live in various different climatic conditions. So definitely they look around in the market for feedback. In terms of how good is your air conditioner working, how good is, if we say things like, automatically heated seats, they actually ask for it, and they do check around. They do not just take your word for it.
Yeah, well, I know the features that I want in my car. I love the wireless charger because I always forget to carry a wire, and ventilated seats. Those are the 2 top things on my list of when I go out to buy a car. I think I always see that if the car has that, because it's really features that work in our conditions and things. But interestingly, do these features help you close the sale? Like, I'm talking about the connected features. Because yes, I know fuel efficiency, performance, these are all features, the way the car looks, these are all ways that people want their car. But do connected apps, connected features, data packs, subscriptions, do they help you close a sale? Has it made a difference?
See, I think increasingly, technology has become something that one should have, rather than what it is a good thing to have or an amazing or a luxurious thing to have. It's become increasingly day-to-day hygiene. Now, how fast can this technology keep up to customers' demands, customers' expectations? Because the Indians now are global Indians. We don't exactly, work only out of our metros and our cities. We travel, we attend tech shows, we like to know what cars we drive in abroad, and then when we come back home, we do definitely go looking for similar features when it's our decision to buy. So definitely, yes, they are looking at various other, like the colleagues on the panel have just summed up, from geofencing and theft and detection and so on and so forth. But they also look for what's relevant for them on a day-to-day basis. They also do not want to feel left out.
Is there something that you feel is the future, that the customer is looking for, still not here in the Indian market, something that now manufacturers need to look at and say that, okay, this is the next step. A lot of customers are asking for it, but it's still not in our cars yet. Is there something like that you guys have on mind?
See, cars are going to evolve very fast. I think the connectivity thing in cars we're at a very, very nascent stage. If you look at connectivity in our mobile phones, if you look at connectivity in our overall world, by and large, the connectivity in cars is a long way behind. Globally, means I think China is way ahead of the curve here, because China decided the platform on which that connectivity needs to happen. Europe and America has still not decided. India, fortunately, has given a green signal on what technology we need to adopt. And the technology is going to be connectivity from car to driver, car to car, car to pedestrian, and then car to Internet of Things. And as India rolls out 5G, I think connectivity in cars will go up, and the kind of features you will see with that connectivity will open up a lot of avenues with what you can give in a car. The kind of things that car will be able to do, because it is able to talk to the car in front. It might be able to see a mobile phone coming, so it will know there is a pedestrian, or intelligence will tell it how that thing is moving. So there is these things will come as technology evolves, because on the car connectivity right now, there is a lot of technology is being developed, and I think there are a lot of things that are going to come. Already the technology that has come has changed the buyer experience, because the kind of data the customer gets when he uses these apps, he realizes where he's losing mileage, how he's losing mileage, how he can drive better. So, his entire car experience is changing with this tech suite. And these things will improve with connectivity.
So interesting question. You said that a consumer is getting all the data. It must also help you dealers also get the actual car data. I mean, very often we have people who are misusing their cars and then they come in and say, ye hua, wo hua. But does this data and connected app also help the dealer side of the thing to know actually how the car was run, actually how was this car used, and it helps you to make an informed decision on how the problem is to be solved?
So now customers are surprised when we call them and tell them that your service is due, because you're almost reaching this service, your kilometers a year. So these things help, because our connectivity with the customer improves, because we are not invasive. We don't need to call him. We're able to tell him on this app that your kilometers is here. You can come. So suddenly, those phone calls from dealers don't need to happen. And this thing is more seamless. Your
service
process is more seamless.
Do you think that it makes even the service process more transparent, easier? Because with connected apps, and now you can track your whole service process. You can see what is happening. So is the customer more confident and easy in this whole process?
Yeah, we give an app to a customer also, that is called service app. He can always see how much the car is used. When the car has to go for the service, he can book from there only, and the workshop will pick the car and drop the car.
And
everything is in there is an app.
Phone through camera what is happening to his car at the dealership.
Yeah, so it's actually made the entire process more transparent. It's, I think, relief for customer, relief for dealerships as well, because there's a lot that you can gather information about the car without really having to constantly monitor the car and keep it. Well, that brings us to an end of this very informative discussion. Connected is the way you want to be. Connected is the future, most definitely. And everybody here is ready to fuel that connected future.